Yo, what's up out there in all YouTube land? This is your boy Shelvon, and all right, I did my own review of the Acolyte season 7. I thought it was absolutely dumb, but I'm gonna check out and see what the critical drinker has to say about it. Maybe he saw something that I didn't. I don't know. So let's get into this. All right, here we go.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
The power of two.
You go and do something like this.
And totally prove me right.
Yes.
You know,
The first thing that popped in my head when she did that was like, why would you do that? And why would you not expect him to react in the way that he did? But okay.
watching The Acolyte is like some bizarre form of self-inflicted torture. Reaching the end of another episode is like waking up on my kitchen floor in a pool of my own bodily fluids after a 3-day bender, only to realise that it's not my kitchen floor when the real owners of the house discover me and just won't stop screaming.
That is quite the visual.
Not only is The Acolyte a laughably terrible piece of media that further tarnishes the reputation of a brand existing on life support at this point, not only does it squander hundreds of millions of dollars that could have been used to fund far more deserving projects, and not only is it one
Like another, was it Godzilla -1? You could have made 5 of those for the cost of this thing.
of the worst showcases of every amateur hour writing failure imaginable, but unlike the aforementioned 3-day bender that ends up on a kitchen floor, it doesn't even provide any enjoyment before the soul-crushing regret kicks in. It's just crap, plain and simple. Oh well, at least we've made it to the penultimate episode now, an episode which finally provides the answers that you already knew to questions that you never even wanted to.
That fight was so bad. Everybody was looking forward to it, and when we got it, it was so bad. This dude is clumsy as hell, and it looked terrible.
Ask. So let's get right into it, shall we? The episode once again finds us back on the planet of the communist lesbian space witches 16 years ago, this time retelling events from the Jedi perspective. And if you're expecting some big mind-blowing revelation that totally recontextualizes everything that happened in episode 3, then
Nah, that's not what you got.
prepare for disappointment. Anyway, the episode picks up with Squid Game Guy and the others mooching around the planet scanning moss and things for like 7 weeks straight. Why? That's a very good question, and one which Token White Guy decides to ask around the campfire one evening, because of course we need to be reminded that he's a whiny little bitch that just wants to go home.
What if only I knew that what we were doing was somehow important or meaningful?
Wait, you've been here for almost 2 months and nobody told you why you're here or what you're looking for? What the hell have you even been scanning for all this time then? Also, this mission really feels like the kind of menial
Bro, the first time I saw the Radio Shack metal detectors, I just started laughing because his costume looks stupid. While he has clothes on, he's covered in fur, but he's walking around in a field with metal detectors. No one who was watching this didn't think that people would get a laugh at this, which is amazing to me.
time-consuming task that should have been assigned to probe droids or something instead of an entire squad of Jedi. It's the Star Wars equivalent of sending a platoon of Navy SEALs in to clean up garbage from a local beach. I'm pretty sure they've got more important things to be doing. Anyway, it turns out that they're looking for a Vergence in the Force, which for some reason Token White Guy has never even heard of before. I mean, isn't this the kind of thing that you're supposed to be trained in? Were you off sick the day they taught Padawans about the Force?
Yes.
Nah, whatever. So Squid Game Guy gets tired of their shit and goes off by himself and immediately spots the terrible twins from the start of episode 3. Wow, lucky he happened to run into the only other people on the entire surface of the planet at this precise moment.
Well, isn't that convenient for you?
Then he follows them back to their gigantic mountain dam fortress village monastery thing and is totally shocked to find that people are living there. You
Is the fact that this thing is next to them. They didn't see it when they landed. They didn't see it in the 2 months they have been going around this particular planet. It is a giant fortress sitting on a friggin' mountain. How do you not miss this? Like, how do you miss this? I, it just like, yeah, this is the point where it started to give me a headache.
Fucking what, mate? This place has got all manner of electric lights, mechanical doors, scanners, and a power generator the size of my entire hometown. This really seems like the kind of thing that should have shown up in orbital scans of the planet way before now. Not to mention the fact that it's revealed to be a former mining facility, which should have been listed on Republic databases and probably would have been worth checking out just to—
Which would, if that was the case, and if it was on the records, this would have been the first place I would have checked to see if there was anything interesting in this place and right around it, because it like they picked this spot for a reason in order to mine. So, okay.
in case. And apart from all that, it's perched on top of a gigantic fucking mountain. You can probably see it from like 100 miles away. Why is any of this stuff a surprise to anyone? Jesus, we're like 5 minutes in and already the episode's gone completely off the rails. So Squid Game guy summons Trinity and the others, and he wants to go all in as a group because he's worried about the terrible twins or something. But Trinity's like, nah, that's a bad idea because a show of force right now might provoke an armed conflict. But he's like, aw, please. And she's like, okay then. Nice to see you sticking to your guns there, lady. Then strong female character number 4 gets into token white guy's head, and there's a really weird scene where it seems like she's trying to force herself on him while he cries about it.
She is using the dark side of the force to do this, but we're supposed to have sympathy for her and her little organization. Okay.
An older predator abusing their power to seduce an unwilling young victim while everyone else around them pretends not to notice. Write what you know, eh, Leslie? Anyway, eventually they get to test the terrible twins, and
That's not right, dude.
token white guy discovers that they're the virgins in the force that the group's been sent here to find. So he does the logical thing and immediately hops on a speeder bike to go abduct them from the mountain dam fortress village monastery thing. But oh no, strong female character number 5 decides to turn evil and tells strong female antagonist to get really angry and kill everyone, and so she does.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I really don't think you've thought through the implications of this one, strong female character number 5. So there's a big tense standoff with strong female character number 4, who decides the best way to de-escalate this extremely tense situation is to turn into a lesbian space witch demon force ghost thing and try to vaporize strong female antagonist.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
So
Given the fact that the next thing she says after he kills her is that she was going to let them have OSHA, and the first thing that popped to me, like, why didn't you tell that to them before you did all of this? It would have made so much sense.
Squid Game guy shoves a lightsaber through her gut, and damn, what a turnaround, man. I mean, Sabine Wren got impaled on one of these bad boys and laughed it off the next day, but now they're able to destroy entities that don't even physically exist. Writing Star Wars shows is amazing when you don't have to care about anything that happened previously, even in your own show. But she's like, I was trying to let Osha go because I'm actually a good person, don't you know?
I think I can smell shite.
Yeah, I'm good, but I'm using the dark side throughout this entire experience with you, even though you have no idea who I am and you have no reason to believe me.
Really? Like, you didn't consider for 1 second that your terrifying transformation into a demon smoke monster might be misinterpreted? How did you expect the guy to react to something like that, especially when you also tried to disintegrate a young girl that he'd specifically come here to rescue?
Yes, I can definitely smell shite.
Anyway, things soon get worse for Squid Game guy and token white guy when Jedi Wookiee shows up, but he's been possessed by the lesbian space witches.
Oh man! Oh god! Oh man!
But that's okay because then Trinity teleports in out of nowhere and forces them out of his...
Alright, the fact that that happened when they knew for a fact, I said fact twice, they knew for a fact that these people could possess you because that happened before they came. The Padawan and the other Jedi Knights knew to keep them out of his head, but for some reason, the strongest, most aggressive member of them forgot to do that. So, Like, okay.
Wookiee brain. That's a pretty interesting skill that she probably should have used when they did the same thing to Token White Guy earlier, but I guess because he's not a protected minority like the Wookiee, it doesn't really matter what happens to him.
Yes, yes.
Either way, all the lesbian space witches die suddenly because the script says so. So much for the power of many. And Squid Game Guy and the others escape the planet with strong female protagonist, and then Trinity decides they should just lie about the whole thing and blame it all on strong female antagonists. And there you have it, boys and girls, the least unexpected revelation in Star Wars history. You
know what the funny thing about all of this? May actually did kill pretty much everybody. It was stupid. I don't know how a pitcher of liquid that she dropped on the floor can burn like stone and cause a massive explosion through from reactors that are in the basement. This happened toward the top of the fortress. Wow, how did that happen? Don't know. They never explained. It just happened.
Jedi are actually the bad guys of this story, because of course they are, because the entire purpose of Disney Star Wars at this point is to trample and deconstruct everything that came before them. Just like Han Solo, just like Luke Skywalker, just like the New Republic and the very concept of the Force. It all has to make way for the new and improved Star Wars, rewritten and reconstructed for modern audiences.
Which do not exist.
It's actually quite impressive just how comprehensively they've managed to fail with this one. Every time I think this show has hit creative and logical bedrock, it somehow finds a way to sink even lower. Every single episode is a masterclass of stupidity, ignoring and contradicting not just the rules and lore of the Star Wars universe in general, but even its own story. As usual, character motivations and their entire worldviews can flip on a dime. People are instantly persuaded to do things they were adamantly against just seconds earlier. Characters teleport into scenes with zero explanation precisely when the script needs them to, and new powers and abilities are introduced with no justification or consideration of how they might break the fictional world they're part of. The episode doesn't even manage to implement its own hackneyed ideas properly. The whole concept of this episode is to retell past events from a different point of view, recontextualizing everything we saw and totally changing our perspective on what actually happened.
But they told a different story. So what happened in this episode didn't happen in the third episode. Perspective had nothing to do with that. It's like there's two different people decided to write the same premise and turn it into a story. And instead of going together and kind of melding, making sure they match, they decided to go with both stories, even though they don't actually match up.
A good 50% of this episode is just re-showing us the same cringe-inducing scenes that we already endured, only from a slightly different camera angle. The other 40% is bland, meaningless conversations between bored-looking actors who are almost certainly going to fire their agents after this, telling us things that we either already knew or didn't care about in the first place. And the remaining 10% is basically a conglomeration of the most contrived, ridiculous writing imaginable, designed purely to get us to an end result with no thought of how we actually get there. This whole storyline could easily have been condensed into a 3-minute flashback at the end of the previous episode, but just like everything else in The Acolyte, it's done purely to eat up screen time and spread a painfully thin story over 8 episodes instead of the 3 or 4 that it actually needs. But hey, who cares? The hypothetical audience this show is written for obviously don't, because they also don't exist. The writers certainly don't, because why should they? They're not interested in Star Wars or working within someone else's framework. All they care about is the story they want to tell, the ideas they want to push, the characters they want to elevate to godlike status. And if Disney were dumb enough to give them $180 million for a retarded fanfic project like this, then I've got no sympathy for them, and neither should you. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
The thing that trips me out the most about this is the fact that he is telling this to May. May saw all of this. It'd be different if he was saying this to Osha, and Osha didn't really, because she was stuck in the room, so she didn't see exactly what happened. May saw all of this. So why would you tell May the exact same thing that she knows already? It's stupid. It's like, that's basically why I titled my thing so dumb, because it's so dumb. This is like a first draft. Nobody read this. They decided to film it and then add the crappy special effects on top of it and put it out. And then they sit back in their shock where how everyone's reacting to this. So people don't like it. So instead of going, you know, maybe we made a bad product, they start screaming racism and this, the sexism and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, your stuff is crap. That's it. So he seemed to have this pretty much the same opinion about this that I did. I am going to watch the last one just to see how this ends. I have no idea how they're going to wrap this up because they didn't tell us why Smilo Ren is doing the stuff that he's doing. Who knows? Probably will never know. All right, so please like, share, and subscribe. Add some comments down below. You can tell me my opinion is great. You can tell me my opinion is bad. Lame. So please like and subscribe and all that. Thank you, and I am out. Later.